I'm Clive. I'm the founder of Komzii, which we think is going to change the world through sports. My background is I've worked in accommodation for a number of years, but my really burning passion has been blockchain and understanding how blockchain can transform and give users of data greater control and power of that data. And we want to do some exciting things with it. So that's really why I'm here today, to talk about the vision of Komzii. Well, I'd start with by saying that we all have the kind of, for the last 20 odd years, the internet's changed our lives, and it's been a force for good. By and large, it's been a force for good. But I think it's limited. I think the metaverse, the Web3, is really going to transform, or has the potential to transform, our lives and turn the internet into something which is more humanized, which can allow us to achieve greater things in our day-to-day lives. And that really is where the Komzii vision is really focused on how do we improve the quality of our lives. And I think things are coming to a head politically, and also with the tech, with the different changes in the technological developments. And I think that combined is going to enable users to really improve their lives. Like the cost of living crisis. Well, data is the most valuable asset that we have, but it's not distributed evenly. And that's the problem. And the internet, or the metaverse, is really going to be a huge leveler. And that's why I think that's what I want to talk about, is how does that leveling of the internet and the fact that we can all start to share our data and extrapolate the value from that data, how can that really impact on your life, my life, and our family and friends? And that's where that really, in a nutshell, is the Komzii vision. At the moment, if we think about the internet, and that the ad revenue model is what really dominates our kind of interaction. People don't care about data. They don't care about who has their data ultimately, as long as they get the services. And they're not too much worried about it, particularly Generation Zers. But the reality is the metaverse and blockchain is going to transform all of that, and that the user will have all of their own data, and they'll own it, and they'll even have access and rights to decide who has access to that data. And the question now in the metaverse is, who's going to create the value? Who's going to create the rewards? And we think it's sports. And sports doesn't realize this yet, but we have a vision that really is going to transform sports, because sports is incredibly tribal. I mean, I'm a Man City fan, but I follow more sports, and I love tennis. And most people, 4 billion fans around the world, as many as there are people using the internet. So it's huge, and we're all diehard, and we're all hugely passionate about sports. And whatever happens in our private lives, whether we get divorced, whether we have children, whether we lose our jobs, whatever we do, you always, by and large, remain loyal to your sport, and particularly to your club. So what does that mean, and where is the opportunity? Well, what that means is, if you have your own data and you control it, and you have effectively your own profile of your data, whatever you do in the metaverse, whether it's a like, whether it's a tweet, whether you spend time on streaming, watching a game, or whether you're on esports, or whether you're buying stuff on e-commerce, all of that is generating data, and it's generating value, but it's staying in one place. So the question is, where do you connect that data to create the value? And we think you connect it through sports. Now, if you connect it through sports, what that allows then is for you to have greater control, but automatically, seamlessly generate revenues from that data, but also share that revenue with sports. Now, what does that mean for sports? Sports has a huge amount of fans, but it doesn't have the data. The data is everywhere. There's no single repository, whether it's IoT data, whether it's broadcasting, streaming, and whether it's social media, wherever their fans are, the vast majority of that data is everywhere, but it's not centralized with sport. And incentivize fans to connect their data, then you'll have a single repository controlled by earn for that data. They'll be able to give rewards, but we can monetize that data and we can inject huge amounts of revenues into sports through that data. And the way that we'll do it is through our partnerships with a DeFi provider. And that DeFi provider is working with Komzii to execute our vision. And what that partner does is they've created a very exciting plugin on the SAP platform. So it's a proven concept. It's already generating revenues. It's a corporate solution. What it effectively does, and this will be a game changer for sports, and we're ready to deliver this solution. What this solution does is it effectively turns dormant data, everyday data that sits in a data warehouse. It uses that data, converts that data into liquidity by mining it, mining Ethereum. And this solution sits on the platform, has got a number of companies, blue chip companies that are already using it, and they're generating revenues from their lines of data. So it's putting dormant data, which normally has a cost for storing it, doesn't get used, dormant because it's not used, and they activate the value of that data and turn it into liquidity. It takes around 90 days to tokenize and mint the data and create a token. Well, that's huge. But for sports, that can really transform the whole global economy, because sports has huge amounts of data, and it's going to increase in that the amount of data it has because of 5G technology. Now, 5G technology, if you just bear with me for a second, 5G technology is really transformative, because if you're sat in a stadium now without 5G, you can barely send a text. With 5G, you can record information, you can record the game, and you can share that. You can push content out. If you're sat at home, let's say Man United has 659 million fans. They could all participate in watching the game via, not now, but at some point they'll be able to watch through VR, AR experiences, but they'll be able to do it as a collective. Now that's exciting. That's going to drive huge amounts of data through Man United if it uses our solution. Because what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to create an infrastructure where we tokenize all of the data that's coming into Man United on the back end. What we'll be able to do is also allow fans on the front end to generate rewards from plugging in their data. So it's almost like a cash machine. It's like an ATM machine. You plug in your data into your sport, into your club, and you'll be able to unlock revenues from that. But the club will gain more from your data than it will from broadcasting rights and from merchandising. It's all about the data. And so what Komzii is creating is it's creating through your data, we're creating a DeFi solution which is built around the club and built around a reward system through the club, which gives the club the data, gives the club greater control and gives greater understanding and connectivity about the fan, but also allows the fan to be able to monetize that data in a way that they haven't done before.